Welcome back to r/NeighborsFromH, where people share stories about their crazy neighbors, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our amazing community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Neighbor Demands I Give Her My Driveway. This just happened. I was having a great morning with my wife and kids when my neighbor texted me. We have never spoken in the 6 to 7 years that we have lived here, and she has always given me and my family dirty looks. This never bothered me, but it always bothered my wife. We never knew why she did this, but today we found out. Side note, her husband seems like a decent guy who just acts like he is defeated by his wife. The few times that I have spoken to him, the conversation has always gotten cut short because his wife needed him for something. My house has a very long driveway. The driveway leads up a hill to my house at the top. The bottom quarter of the driveway is shared by my two neighbors. They have to drive up it to get into their garages. My side yard overlooks one neighbor's backyard, while my backyard overlooks the other's backyard. My pool is in my backyard. I am posting the text conversation that just took place. Hey OP, this is your neighbor. I'm putting in a ground pool into my backyard and I had some paperwork drawn up for you to sign. Can you stop by my place tonight at 8 PM? Hello? I'm a busy woman and I need to know that you are coming tonight. Me? Who is this? I told you I'm your neighbor. I just need you to stop by to sign the paperwork. It should take less than a minute. What paperwork? What are you talking about? I'm having a pool built in my backyard and I need you to sign some paperwork. The worker said that he couldn't build it in ground because of your driveway or something like that. What does my driveway have to do with anything? If you want to build a pool, go ahead, I don't care. Great, so I will see you at 8 PM to sign the paperwork. No, you are not. I'm not signing any paperwork. I don't know what it is for, and to be honest, I don't really care. I've lived here for 2 years, you have never said more than 2 words to me, and now you want me to sign some papers? Not gonna happen. Also, what does my driveway have to do with your pool? Don't be selfish. You have a pool with a waterfall for your kids, but you don't want me to have a pool for mine? Stop being a selfish prick. I will see you at 8. What the F? Who even are you? I'm done with this conversation. Goodbye. I don't think so. I need your driveway to build my pool. Why do you need such a big driveway anyway? You can park on the street and walk up to your house. Stop being selfish. I need this pool for my kids. Wait, are you seriously asking me to sign away my driveway? What the actual F is wrong with you? Like I said, you don't need such a big driveway. You're being selfish and wasteful. You can park on the street and walk. It's not a big deal. Lady, you are crazy. I don't even know you. Regardless, did you really think I was going to sign papers a stranger hands to me without reading them? Don't you dare call me crazy. And we are not strangers, we are neighbors. How did you even get my number? You have my husband's business card. Don't try to change the subject. You will sign the papers or I will sue you. Ha! What is so funny? Ha ha ha. Stop it now. And I just continued laughing. You will regret this. Are you the neighbor who keeps stealing my Amazon packages? I never stole anything in my life. Well, I have 2 neighbors. I know the ones that I like pretty well, so I think it is safe to assume that you are the crazy lady who has never said a word to me. And yeah, you've been stealing my packages. F off. Don't you dare to speak to me that way. Do you know who my husband is? Do you know what he can do to you? If someone delivers a package to my house, then legally it is mine. That's not stealing. No, you are wrong, and your husband seems like a nice guy. I don't think he would like that you're demanding that I give you my driveway so you can build a pool. You don't need your driveway. Stop being a selfish piece of crap. If you don't sign, I will end you. Yeah, no. What? Yes or no? I will give you a hint. 2 letters. N-O. Okay, I'm calling the cops. Goodbye. You're calling the cops? I'm going to call them first and they are going to side with me because I did nothing wrong and you're a piece of work. Okay, call them and let them sort this out. I already did. They are going to make you sign and I'm not only going to take your driveway, I'm also going to take your house. You and your kids will be homeless. You effed with the wrong person. Wow, real classy, Karen. My name is not Karen. What kind of idiot are you? Answer me now. Basically, she wants me to give her my driveway so she can build an in-ground pool for her kids. Her kids are a nightmare and she has never controlled them. She just lets them run around and do whatever they want all day. I still don't fully understand why she needs the rights to my driveway to do that, but she didn't like being told no. If I'm being honest, I did get angry and a little immature during the conversation, but I felt it was warranted for the situation. She thought that threatening and making racist comments about my kids would be the best way to get me to do what she wants. My kids are half Korean, half European. Update: so I went out with my family earlier today, and when we got home she had blocked off our driveway with traffic cones. I moved them over to block her garage and texted her to let her know. Here is the conversation. Update 2: she says that she's going to build her pool with or without my signature and that I should sign. In the end, she says to do the right thing and calls me a witch, but I wasn't sure how appropriate that is for SoundCloud, so I edited it out. You guys all have some great advice about how to handle this situation, but I haven't decided what to do yet. I don't want to escalate too much because my family has to live right near her. I also feel like I can't do nothing because it will only get worse. I will let you guys know once I decide how to handle this. Update: entitled Mom demands I give her my driveway. A lot of people have been asking me for an update, and I don't think it is realistic to answer all of your messages individually, so here it goes. I honestly didn't take my neighbor seriously, and that was a mistake. I stayed home from work on 1st March to make sure that my neighbor didn't try anything. The day was completely normal, so I went to work the next day, and when I was pulling down my driveway, there were trucks from a pool company on the street in front of her house. I immediately regretted not taking this situation seriously, but I had to go to work, so I left and called my wife asking her to keep an eye out. About 2 hours later, my wife called telling me that the trucks had pulled onto our driveway and a few guys had started removing the hedges that line my driveway. To give you guys an idea of what my driveway looks like, there are hedges that line the driveway all the way up to my house, which then branch out to the right and left, although they aren't the only thing separating my property from my neighbors. In my previous post, I mentioned that my house is on a hill. My neighbors' houses are lower than mine, so their backyards are lower than mine. If you were to stand on my driveway looking at my neighbor's backyard, you would be looking at a 4 to 5 foot drop. The guys were removing the hedges for easier access to my neighbor's backyard. I immediately left work and headed home. When I got there, I explained to the contractors that I had not given permission to alter my property in any way. They told me to call their office, which I did. Unfortunately, my neighbor came outside while I was on the phone with them, screaming at the guys to continue what they were doing, telling them that she owned my driveway. She started screaming in my face, telling me that I was a scumbag and that her kids needed an in-ground pool. Why should my kids have a nice pool and not her kids? Nothing she said made any real sense. I didn't really know what to say, so I just kind of stared at her while she was screaming at me. I was still on hold with the pool company anyway. She then told me that my wife's sister had told her that it was okay for her to cut down my hedges, and that was all the permission she needed. My wife is one of 5 siblings, 3 girls and 2 boys. I am really close with her brothers, but not with her sisters. They have always been weird to me. The oldest sister straight up called me a damn gook once a few years back. To be honest, we were in a pretty heated argument, and the younger sister was never openly hostile towards me, but has been mooching off of me for the last 10 years and flips out on my wife if we ever say no to her. I really didn't know what to say to my neighbor at this point, so I just walked up to my house to speak to my wife. After my wife spoke to her sisters, we found out that my sister-in-law, younger, has been speaking to my neighbor for the last year. She claims that she mentioned to her how the city had used eminent domain to take some of my property a few years back, but nothing more than that. I guess my neighbor thought this meant that anyone could take my property. Still not following the logic here. So yeah, this situation is completely bonkers. I'm putting a fence around my property now, which I really don't want to do. The pool guys assured me that they wouldn't be returning, but my neighbor is absolutely crazy and I'm wondering what she has planned next. Wife and I were talking about moving across the country to get away from her sisters, but we didn't want to leave my mom and brother. My kids love them. I guess my neighbor made our minds up for us, so we will be moving away ASAP. Edit: the general consensus seems to be that I should speak to a lawyer and the police. I'm taking the day off to speak to a lawyer tomorrow. Also a lot of comments about what is going to happen when I sell the house. I'm going to speak to my wife about it when I get home tonight, but I don't think I'm gonna sell the house. Hopefully I can put this house up for rent. Edit number 2, I met with a lawyer this morning. She spoke a lot, but it doesn't seem like she can do much. I did call the police though. When I got home earlier today, the glass on my front door was cracked and one of my basement windows was shattered. I checked my cameras and my neighbor was knocking on my door for a few minutes before kicking in my front door repeatedly. After she cracked the glass, she walked around to the back of my house and kicked in my basement window before running away. I called the police and they were here in less than 5 minutes. I gave them the footage and they went to knock on her door. I was told that I would be able to get a restraining order. I will post an update when I find out what is going to happen to her. We are still going to move, but we are most likely going to sell the house. My wife just wants to forget this place exists and I don't disagree. And guys, unfortunately I have to tell you, this is the last update to the story, at least so far, and that just leads me to believe that OP and his wife indeed just forgot that this place really existed and simply moved on with their lives. Either way, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments if you enjoy my content and want to support my channel. Thank you so much in advance. And the next story starts like this. My apologies for the length, but this is a good one. Some years ago, back in my poor college days, I was a Home Depot boy while I attended school. My current school housemate and I were looking for a bigger place and found out that a relative of a co-worker of mine had a fairly nice cheap 3-bedroom ranch for rent. My housemate and I allowed a third guy on board to support the cost of the new larger place. He was a good friend of mine that I had known for over a year working at the depot. A month later we sign on and all move into this joint. Now we are all 21 to 23 years old, total bros. We smoke, we drink, we party and we hang out. It was great, we got along wonderfully and it was a really good time. We have the chillest house ever and it is the center of party, lots of people over all the time. A month later my original housemate says this life is not for him and that he wants to move on to his own private place, wasn't into the partying, he wanted to go solo after some thought. Cannot hate the guy for wanting privacy, so we shake hands, he moves out and my co-worker's cousin moves in. He seems like a cool guy, things remain pretty good for a while, business as usual. Fast forward 2 months, my co-worker's girlfriend's father finds out she is seeing him. He is 23, she is 18, she gets kicked out and lands in our place. Now she is basically living with us, my girlfriend isn't and the other guy is single. She is constantly causing all sorts of problems. She was a damn ignorant, self-centered woman for one. She was always moaning about everything we did, or borrowing something, or eating our food, leaving her stuff everywhere and so on. When she initially left home, she brought the most stupid stuff with her. Among a trash bag or 2 of clothes, there was also a huge bag of stuffed animals, a huge bag of purses, like 40 purses, a huge bag of shoes and some miscellaneous stuff that was pretty much just garbage taking up space. All of this stuff sat in our utility room for some months, but I will come back to that later. She also spent big dollars at the local dollar store buying all sorts of knick-knacky bullcrap like framed inspirational Jesus, religious wall decor, candles and whatnot. Oh, and one of the candles she left burning one day got bumped and completely drenched my $300+ handmade Syrian hookah. What the actual F? That woman ruined my peace, one that one of my dearest friends gave me. One day she even had the nards to tell me that she had more of a right to the house than I did, though her name was not on the lease. Just stupid, she thought she owned the joint. 4 months into our rental, stuff starts getting out of hand. My co-worker and his cousin spent every weekend fishing or camping, so they would be gone for days on end, often stretching into the beginning of the week. I was in school and work full time, 60+ hours of work plus 20 credit hours, so the only time I had to myself was for eating, sleeping, homework, intercourse and beer, not in that order. I tried my best to enjoy what little free time I had by relaxing with my girlfriend in my now usually empty house. My co-worker's dumb girlfriend decides that she thinks she owns the place. She starts having her stupid teeny bopper friends over for popcorn and nail polish sleepovers, movie nights, giggle sessions, etc. And I don't need this noisy, irritating Candyland BS going on. The straw that broke the camel's back was when they decided to inflate a king-size air mattress, which stayed in the middle of my living room for over 2 weeks. I asked several times for it to be removed. They finally deflated it, but left it crumbled up in the corner all apart. We will come back to the air mattress later too. She also cleaned out her guinea pig cage and left a big pile of wood shavings and guinea pig poop in my front yard. Not the trash, not the fire pit, the damn yard. The 2 guys started falling into some bad habits they had before. They start doing steroids and drugs. 2 things that should not be mixed. Needless to say, their rage levels when irritated were off the charts. One of them became absolutely unglued one day over toothpaste residue in the sink. And he blamed me for it even though it was his girlfriend's. I had cleaned the sink the night before and wasn't even there that night, spent night with girlfriend to get out of the house, his GF spent the night at ours alone. So now I'm stealing with the stupid idiot and the two guys who go over anything if you breathe on them wrong, whom cannot be trusted. They began to side with her idiocy and antics and quickly turned against me. I received all sorts of threats, having my arms broken, my stuff destroyed, etc. because the one girl doesn't like me. Lots of my tools went missing, my crap gets broken, including some $100 plus glassware, which they blamed on my cat if you know what I mean. No respect, it is gone, this is war. When the threats started getting severe, I made plans with my landlord to vacate a month early, but was not able to sign off on the lease. I wound up paying 6 months for 5 months of stay, but whatever. I was going to make this hurt. I stopped paying all the bills on the house at the beginning of month 4 when crap started getting really bad, so after 5 months the house was in arrears. I moved out, but not before taking care of a few things. Part 2, remember that air mattress? It was a brand new, very expensive $200 model and it was brand new. I picked up the seal plug which had been sitting on the floor for weeks and weeks and casually tossed it out as garbage. The guys kept their fishing poles in the storage room along with the bags of purses, animals and crap the girl bought. That common area became a huge mess after a while, so everything was mounted up everywhere. Importantly, we also stored our trash bins in there. I took a 15-minute jumping jack exercise session around the room, feeling all of their expensive fishing poles cracking and breaking under my weight. When I was certain there were no survivors, I carefully placed the bag of stuffed animals in the trash can and put some actual refuse on top of it. I grabbed the remains of my decimated toolbox, finish packing up my crap, take a dump without flushing, and proceed to break the toilet by screwing with the flush settings. I also cracked the fridge open. At this point there was so much traffic in and out of this place between her friends, the guy's friends and people coming over to party, no one would have any clue who was responsible for what. They lost the fridge worth of food that weekend while they were gone. That was all they noticed though. I'm the one who paid all the bills for the house. Gas, electric, water, trash, rent, you name it, was in my name. The same day I moved out, I had my landlord do an inspection of my portion. I got my security deposit back minus some minor damage, which was no big deal. I was expecting that. I got a letter from them stating exactly when I had vacated. I then called up all of my services and had them cancelled. The power, gas, water, garbage, etc. were all taken out of my name and I had records of everything, including cancellation notices from all of my accounts. I made sure I had every record necessary. I forgot about that place for a few weeks and went back to still working like a maniac but happy. I found out that after the 6th month that the landlord went month to month with both guys, a third replacement guy and 3 girls whom are now all living there. They aren't paying for the still connected power, water, cable, gas, and the trash company was still picking up as they had not actually returned the trash cans. Amazingly, the house was entirely still up and running. I found out through a mutual friend that they were all planning on going on vacation for a week. I made note of this and planned the last and most sweet bit of my revenge. The day they left, Sunday afternoon, I made some phone calls. I called all of the service companies that were still providing service to let them know that they were still in fact people living in the home and consuming the services. They all thought I was the sole tenant and had moved out / house was vacant, so services were left up. FF a week. They come home late Sunday night the following week to a house with no electricity, no water, no gas, no cable, a fridge and freezer full of spoiled rotting food, toilets that cannot be flushed. All of the service providers sent out texts on the previous Monday to disable all of the services they'd been using without paying for months. They moved out shortly after that, but not before trashing the place, leaving tons of garbage behind, ruining a lot of fixtures and flooring, and making general assheads out of themselves. I heard from a mutual friend that the place was absolutely disgusting, beyond livable when they left. They lost their entire security deposit, all of their food, and everyone was fighting with everyone about everything. When they moved out, they found all of the broken fishing poles and other belongings, the air mattress that they couldn't plug. The girl's bag of stuffed animals, apparently treasured stuff from her youth, had been long gone at this point, and my ex-coworker was getting the damn 9th degree about where they were, while he gave it right back to her about breaking his expensive fishing gear. No one knew anything, everyone was trying to kill each other, and no one had money, food, power or sanity. It was absolute chaos, the rage could be felt from miles away. I may have had a few rough weeks with them when stuff started getting insane, but I think I had the last laugh when I turned their worlds upside down. Some years later I found out that my ex-coworkers GF and he were living somewhere else locally and that she had screwed the cable installation guy when they moved to their next apartment when he was at work. I also found out she now has 3 different kids with 3 different guys, so no surprise there, no idea what happened to the rest of the lot. And ripe stars, unfortunately we have already reached the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content. However, if you cannot wait for more ripe content, then I suggest you head on over to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where you can find more exclusive Reddit content read by me. Patreon subscriptions start at just $1 per month, and for $1 your name will show up at the end of each of my new videos. However, if you are willing to spend $3 per month, you will get access to more than 50 exclusive Reddit videos, mostly just no mother-in-law stories. However, please understand, I don't want to pressure anyone into spending money, because I am already incredibly grateful that you watch my videos every single day. Thank you so much for your daily support, it really means the world to me, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for the next video.